Okay, so the Liquidity Alliance is turning into a kind of an association of CSDs across the world, so market infrastructures, which have identified the need for their respective markets to put in place collateral management services to help and support the need of their markets and their clients. So as we have discussed it already, a number of CSDs across the world are like Clearstream in its own market as an ICSD or as a CSD in Germany, have come to the same conclusion that they needed to upgrade the level of service they had and provide value-added services in the collateral space, which we perceive together that will progressively and relatively quickly, become part of core services to be provided by CSDs. So this association of a number of CSDs, now there are 6 of them, which have joined the group, are there to share information, to share experience, and also share the technology which was initially developed by Clearstream, since Clearstream has been involved in collateral management services for nearly 20 years, for more than 20 years now. So, and this experience now is being shared with other market infrastructure. The first step is to really develop collateral management functionalities locally in a domestic market, based on the experience and technology we provide at Clearstream. The second step is to develop that network of counterparties and CSDs and market infrastructure to, in fact, facilitate the movement and the transfer of collateral cross-border from one market to another. And that's really the key, I would say, medium to long-term vision of this association, which is to facilitate collateral velocity and mobilization across the world, because we believe the collateral challenge we are facing will be in fact resolved only in the smooth and easy mobilization of collateral from large collateral pools. And CSDs are the natural and ultimate source of collateral, because they are the issuers and holders of securities. In fact, T2S, when it's launched in 2015 and 2016, where progressive migration of the CSD's business will reach the settlement platform, will in fact be a facilitator and an enabler in terms of resolving one of the collateral challenges I already mentioned, which is the fast and smooth mobilization of collateral. Here, it's a security settlement platform, so in fact it will essentially facilitate the movement of non-cash collateral, which we all expect is going to become more and more important going forward to face the big demand on collateral. So a lot of cash was used in collateralization in money markets and for money transaction in the recent years. Progressively, with the increase of demand on collateral, the need to use and mobilize non-cash collateral, being securities, will become more and more important. So when the securities settlement platform is being harmonized to some extent in Europe for a lot of the domestic markets, so for equities and for fixed income of domestic markets of all the 22 CSDs which are going into T2S, that will be a fantastic, I would say, platform to smoothly and easily mobilize collateral, but also it will facilitate the centralization for market participants. It will facilitate the ability they have to centralize their collateral pool rather than having and still supporting many different relationships in many different markets to hold their collateral locally. They will be enabled or allowed to centralize their securities holdings in Europe into one single provider and one single CSD potentially. And that will also facilitate greatly the optimization of collateral. So that's a very positive development for what the market is concerned, and will be also, we are at Clearstream looking at really trying to integrate as much as possible the ICSD activity, where we are still and we will maintain a large portion of collateral for some of our clients, and the CSD, which will migrate to T2S. So the integration between the two, as well as the smooth integration of commercial bank money settlement and central bank money settlement will be very important going forward for clients when we are talking about exchange of securities versus cash. The role of the tri-party agent will evolve, I would naturally. If we look at it the last 20 years when tri-party services have been developed and implemented and evolved already in Europe specifically, the role has moved from a specific facility to help for secured funding for some banks, and it was essentially supporting interbank transaction in the repo business, and that was the early days of tri-party repo. And from then already has evolved significantly to be perceived as a facility which can be used to collateralize money kind of transaction from the repo market, the securities lending market, the OTC derivative, but also increasingly in the last few years, the collateralization of central banks. And going forward, very important element will be to facilitate, automate, and provide some straight-through processing for collateralization of CCPs, which are going to be increasingly demanding collateral and calling for collateral, cash and non-cash. So the tri-party agent will naturally evolve in that space because as often provided by larger asset holders or global custodian or ICSDs, the natural position of the tri-party agent are there as to aggregate assets and collateral. The other aspect is also we've talked this morning about the automation and standardization of the collateral processes, and I think when we reach standardization and automation, the tri-party agent will be there to support that natural evolution, where we'll need to be able to process much larger volume of collateral at much lower cost. And I think in the recent years, the tri-party model has proven that, in fact, it could achieve that, manage a lot of collateral, different collateral types in terms of asset class, large volumes at very reasonable cost, and with a high level of automation and security in terms of operational risk, but also with a high level of transparency for participants and for regulators, which is something which goes quite well with the regulatory demand at the moment.